Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I am your host, your YouTube messiah, and often imitator. Never duplicate a superstar Tim Viciousn. Gonna go over Raw this week. Was in Evansville, Indiana. And, well, before we do, we're gonna switch gears, talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind and the big highlights from last week's SmackDown. It started out with Roman and the family hyping up the tag title unification match that's coming up in the later of the night, and I'll get to that match in a minute or two. Mind Savior Paul Heyman hyping the match up as only Paul can, and then hitting the nail on the head saying the Usos have one job and one job only tonight, to win, and if they don't, they're out of the family. They're gone. Bye-bye. See ya. So, yeah, no pressure or nothing, right, guys? So, the rest of the show, how the rest of the show went. It went, Nakamura had a match with Sami Zayn. Nakamura won. The big takeaway from that, though, was Sami Zayn was doing the match with a Bloodline shirt on, saying that, you know, he's like a liaison for them, for the guys in the locker room, since he's the locker room leader, and he's part of the family, so to say. Honestly, it reminds me of that kid that thinks he's hanging out with the cool kids, but the cool kids are making him pay for everything. That's what it reminds me of. Gunther beat the ungodly shit out of Drew Gulak in like 30 to 40 seconds, and then proceeded to get saved by Ricochet. So my guess is Gunther and Kaiser Sose are going to be doing a tag match at some point with Ricochet against Ricochet and Gulak. Raquel Rodriguez had a match with Shotzi, which, yeah, quick squash. Butch wound up having a match with Xavier Woods. Xavier got the win, but then proceeded to get the crap kicked out of him by Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Woods wound up saying, Big E's on the shelf. Kofi wasn't here tonight because he was taking care of New Day business, but next week, which would be this Friday coming, we're going to settle this once and for all in a six-man match. E ain't here. He can't work, but I got somebody in mind. My money's on Drew McIntyre. And then we come to the tag title unification match. The Usos, the longest reigning, defending SmackDown Tag Team Champions, going against one of, if not one of the greatest Raw Tag Team Champions in company history, Randy Orton and Riddle. This was a damn good match. I thoroughly enjoyed the ungodly hell out of this match. I absolutely fucking loved it. It came to an end when Riddle was going for a super RKO off the top rope from either Jimmy or Jay. One of them. I can't tell them apart, you know. Whole point, they're twins and all that jazz. Heyman distracts the ref. Roman winds up running interference, keeping Uso from being thrown off. Riddle instead gets thrown off the top and is just dead on the mat. Uso then does a big splash. 1, 2, 3. So your winners and new unified tag team champions, the Usos. I can't argue. So now that we're done talking about the SmackDown Rewind, one thing do need to highlight on, and it was mentioned once and once only on SmackDown. It was in regards to the Sasha Banks and Naomi debacle, and honestly that's on how I'm referring to it as. Cole addressed it openly, talking about what happened. Not in detail, mind you, but made a statement on it and then said they were then suspended indefinitely, stripped of the titles, and will be having a tag title tournament to determine the new women's tag champions. Now, few things to take away from this. One, the whole suspension thing. Listen, I get that because, again, professionalism. Personally, whether you want to say, oh, they shouldn't have done that, you know, they know their self-worth. they had all the right in the world to walk out. Yeah, listen, I don't blame you. I fucking walked out and quit on a job. But here's the thing. I didn't walk out in the middle of a shift. I didn't walk out in the middle of the day. No. Wait until you're done your job. Wait until you're done for that day, and then you go and turn in. It's called professionalism. That's just on how I was raised. Maybe that's just me. But that's on how I handle it. With that said, also, doing a tournament, people want to go and then go in a big uproar on Twitter. Oh, well, they're going to have to make a whole bunch of random teams together because they only have one real women's tag team. Well, you know what? Fuck Knuckles. Maybe, just maybe, if you took the time to stop bitching and complaining to WWE for years that they should have had, that they need to have women's tag titles, and, you know, maybe, just maybe, they would have bothered to take the time to help build a roster. Now, obviously, shit has happened between the time the titles were first made and now. You know, this funny little thing called fucking COVID, and a lot of people wound up getting cut from the company, you know. So, yeah. Here's the thing, though, and again, this is probably my absolute favorite quote from Paul Heyman. When there is chaos, there is opportunity. And amongst the chaos of Sasha and Naomi walking out, being suspended, and then having their titles stripped from them, there is now opportunity for potential other talent to have a chance to get on TV. Even if they're only on there for 5 minutes. That 5 minutes can make or fucking break someone, you know? So, yeah, that's my big thing. Now that we're done that, now let's get into this week's show. It starts out with Riddle coming out, cutting a promo saying, you know, talking about on how SmackDown, there was real high stakes match. Unfortunately, they lost. Randy, he has not been feeling the best. He's been dealing with some major back issues, which I can sympathize. And then said he's not sure what the future of RK Bro is, this, that, and the other, which, honestly, this did not sound like a traditional Riddle promo. This sounded more like a very heartfelt kind, which was way different. And again, I'm all for different, but yeah. So then Riddle wound up ending it, then his partners for a trios match came out, the Street Profits, which, again, I still question, is it just, what kind of carbon footprint do the Street Profits have, really? Because of all those red Solo cups that get shot out into the air. Simply because of the fact, you know, those things aren't always recycled. Contrary to all popular belief, 90% of the plastic that gets put in a recycling bin does not get recycled and is wound up dumped in the ocean. Which really does hit me because I recycle, but you gotta figure, even if they're recycling that, those things are getting stuck in a landfill somewhere, or being floated around on Garbage Island or something. Shame on you, Street Profits, for that. Anyways, their opponents, Sami Zayn and the Usos. Sami again acting like the kid that thinks he's hanging out with the cool kids. And as the Usos are coming down, Riddle then rushes down there like a bat out of hell, jumps onto the fucking Usos, just straight up brawl before the bell afterwards, and then chaos is ensued. After the chaos is done, have nice action going on with the Profits and Sami and the Usos. But the real story of the match itself, the story for the match, picks up when Riddle finally gets tagged in, and he's in there with one of the Usos. You just see his demeanor change from to going super pissed off real quick, and then gunning for blood. Like, okay, listen, this is a bit different than the you know, happy stoner that we're used to seeing. I'm a bit shocked. Shocked, I say. Either way, I dug it. Ford wound up being the punching bag post-commercial break. Riddle wound up getting a hot tag in and started working. Cleaning up house. He was in there with Sami for a bit. You know, and then when the Usos got up on the apron, Riddle ran up to him. They then jumped down like, you know what? Fuck it, we're done. We're out. Leave. We're leaving later. And then just walked, and Sami's just like, well, guys? And then Riddle winds up hitting an RKO, 1, 2, 3. So your winners, Riddle and the Street Profits. Next up, we got mixed tag action. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Pretty sure I'm going to get a brain duster at some point. If not for this match, then later on. Going against Liv Morgan and AJ Styles. And got a good solid start with the guys. But when the girls got in, that's when the crowd got really riled up. You know? The crowd started to get riled up. Which, I'm not saying that the action was dead, I'm just saying the crowd wasn't reacting like you would expect, like, kind of reactions. It was just more, it was a lot more toned down, to put it in a nicer way. AJ was the punching bag for a good bit. Liv wound up getting a hot tag in post-break. Started running around working with Rhea for a bit. Match came to an end when Rhea was leaning up against the ropes. Liv went to go do that off the rope flatliner. Edge, though, in his infinite sense of wisdom, was holding on to Rhea's belt so that way she couldn't bounce off. And instead, it was just Rhea, or not Rhea, it was Liv, wham, hitting the back of the mat. And then Rhea just came in, scooped her up, 1, 2, 3, that was it. Afterwards, post-match beatdown by both of them, and all I could think is, once again, one of my favorite parts of Monday Night Raw now. Seeing all the angry Liv Morgan fangirls getting mad because she still didn't get a win. Even when working with Uncle Alan this time. Shame. Damn shame. Next up we got, definitely know I got a brain duster here coming. Little Miss Bliss, Alexa Bliss coming out going against Nikki A.S.H. And you know, I still stand by my argument I said last week. If I was Nikki A.S.H. or Doudrop, I would have been fucking livid last week. I would have been pissed as shit. I would have been pissed off as all hell because of the walkout. Because of the walkout debacle. Because, motherfucker, you just took me off the main event. And now I'm back here working remedial matches. Fuck. Yeah, that's just me though. And as far as this match went, Nikki, she was leading the pace for majority of the match. Bliss wound up closing it out and then hit the Twisted Bliss, 1, 2, 3. Honestly though, at this point, I'm just waiting for when the day comes when WWE finally gets Bowling for Soup to come and play Alexa down to the ring. And what better way to play her down to the ring than with either the bad girl, all the good, bad girl, all the good guys won, or her very own song, Alexa Bliss. Hopefully I'm talking that into existence. Let's just wait and see. Next up, we got Cody going against The Miz, and nice back and forth going with each other at the start. Miz wound up leading into the break. Post-break, there was a little bit of a tussling. Cody, that match came to an end though when Cody went to the top. Looked like he was going to go for like a dive or something. But then Seth came out of nowhere, threw him off the top rope, started beating the shit out of him, grabbed the belt he took grabbed the weight belt that Cody gave the kid on his way down to the ring, and then proceeded to whip him with it like a drunken stepdad looking disappointed at his son, and then proceeded to then walk off. Cody then, hobbling, limping, grabbed the belt, went up back over to the kid, gave it to him, and then walked off, which, you know, I put this out there on Twitter, and I really do wonder, just from a business perspective, do you think, is it just what kind of a, do you think Cody gets a tax write-off for getting all those custom weight belts made to give to fans? I mean, is that really, do you think that's a tax write-off, or do you think that's an expenditure, or what? You know? Or do you think that just goes like as an expenditure, like buying toothpaste or deodorant? So, next up we got Ezekiel going against Chad Gable with Kevin Owens sitting ringside along with Otis. Owens, though, not on commentary, but just sitting ringside because he even said, I'm not on commentary because of the way you acted last week, talking to Byron Saxton, which, okay, it's Saxton, I can't really blame him. But as far as the match went, a lot of good in-ring work between both guys. Gable was leading the pace. Dug the shit out of it. I liked it. Match came to an end, though, when the ref wasn't looking. Otis got on the apron. Wham! Whacked him with those tree trunk arms of his. Ref heard the thud. Turned around, saw Otis standing on the apron. You hit him! No, I didn't hit him. You hit him? No, I didn't hit him. I heard it. I heard you hit him. You know what? You're out of here. And then Otis starts freaking out, going off like, no. As he's walking off, the ref's yelling at him. That's when Owens sneaks over, starts to slide in. Just as he's on his feet inside the ring, that's when the ref turns around and Owens just looks like a kid that just got caught with his hand in a cookie jar. I didn't do nothing. I didn't touch him. I didn't do nothing. And then the ref throws Owens out as well, which then leads to Ezekiel then doing a quick roll-up on Gable, 1, 2, 3, and then running off through the crowd. After the match, Owens then issued a challenge to Ezekiel for a match at Hell in a Cell. Next up, we got Bobby Lashley going against MVP. Yes, you heard right. And this came to be from a segment earlier in the show where Lashley said for his almighty challenge, he's issuing an almighty challenge where he wants a match against MVP, and the winner of the match gets to determine the stipulations for Bobby Lashley versus Omos at Hell in a Cell. Now, right at the start, MVP running out the ring, ducking, dodging, going, stretching his legs, getting himself warmed up. It's been a minute since he competed in the ring on a regular basis, so understandable, not fully up to, man's in tremendous shape, but, still got to work out some of the kinks. But Bobby wound up, for the most part, leading the pace once he finally got his hands on him. And it was a relatively short match, and it was meant to be. And I can't even argue because it was meant to be, and it was one of those kind of matches that should have been short. When the ref wasn't looking, Omos decked Lashley. Ref turned around. All he sees is Bobby throwing shots at Omos. Bobby then loses via countout, so your winner via a countout is MVP. So now we come to main event of the night. Asuka. Pretty sure I just felt the brain duster there. Asuka going against Becky Lynch, and the stipulation for this match is if Becky wins, then she's added to the match at Hell in a Cell. Bianca Belair was sitting ringside, and whew, good God almighty, Bianca, them legs. Okay, if I wasn't getting a brain duster before, I know I am now. Moving forward, solid action with by both performers. I dug the shit out of it, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. These two don't disappoint. They know how to work with each other. You just get some people that just have really good chemistry, and just not saying watch them every night because then after a while you start to get bored from it, but every few months you could put them together in a match and just be like, wow, that was damn good. I mean, I'm not going to say it was like 13 and a quarter star Tokyo Dome. explosive 6,000 flips into a giant flaming table covered in barbed wire and thumbtacks good, but, you know, it was, you know, they could put on a good match. They could put on a damn good match. Asuka was leading the pace for this match. I dug the hell out of it. It came to an end when both were fighting outside. Becky, looking like she's punch drunk, wound up getting thrown into Bianca's lap. And then Bianca just like, whoa, okay. And then Asuka sizing up for her spin kick. And then Becky moves out the way. Boom! Catches Bianca on the side of the head. Asuka then looking like, what the fuck? Becky then, boom, throws Asuka to the side, off to the side. Looks like it was supposed to be the table, but it looked like it was a miss. Becky then gets back in, ref's doing the count. Asuka then gets back into the ring and just lays flat, like on her belly, dead. Becky then rolls her over and then does a roll up, 1, 2, 3. So your winner, Becky Lynch, she's now added to the match, and as Becky Lynch would say, a triple threat match. So yeah. So that is it for this week's show, folks. So please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes when you can. Look for me on the Twitter at TimVicious. Also, folks, thank you to my executive producer, Ollie Ray Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check out us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, all that good shit. Details are down below. Also, thank you to contributor of the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. There are a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Also, folks, make sure y'all check out, get some Vicious Rants apparel, whatamaneuver.net. Details are down below as well, and make sure y'all follow these cool ass cats right on the Twitter. Kenny Killer DSB_IV Diabolica RA, Sergeant Curry Pants, and Dubs in your face. And folks, like I always tell ya, and like the shirt says, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.